I'm humbly coming to you telling you I don't have it all figured out. I'm just telling you some of the things I have figured out are in business, in life, when you really want to solve something, putting yourself in that person's shoes, understanding who they are, what they're going through, why it matters to them, can allow us to solve some of life's biggest problems. I think it might even solve some of the biggest political problems in our world. I mean, truthfully, these are the very things that people forget. Empathy is where it starts. Empathy, but with action. What does empathy and action actually mean? How do we take empathy and action and put them together to create success? And I think you find these things out through life's experiences, right? I've always felt empathetic to anything my friends or family or people around me are going through. The problem is I like to solve problems. And so when you're a solutions-driven person, empathy is accompanied by action. So here's what that looks like. One of your friends is going through something and they're really struggling. And the whole time they're telling me about it, I'm literally putting myself in their position. I'm feeling what they're feeling. I'm understanding it. I'm feeling it for them. It's definitely tough, but my brain switches really quickly and it starts to go to, how can I help this person? What can I do? How can I guide them? What can they do? Have they tried these things? Sometimes empathy with action can look like you're not sympathizing with somebody. It can look like you're not empathetic because you're just trying to throw out solutions to them and you're trying to solve a problem, right? But in business and in life, you get into these situations where, mostly in business, you don't have a lot of time in business to not solve things. You have to solve it. You've got to find a solution to it. So you're looking at all the angles, but if you don't truly understand what someone's going through, it's really difficult to solve anything. Empathizing is something that I have to have when I sit across from a client in this room, in this office, and understand why they need to stop working at this time or how their child going through this challenge right now affects their financial situation, or how we can help them get out of a hole that they've dug themselves in. Whatever it may be, empathizing allows us to see the side of the story that we're not on. I'll be honest with you. Today, we could use a whole lot more empathy with action, but empathy in general. Understanding your friend that doesn't agree with every single thing you say, empathy helps. Really understanding their life story, understanding where they come from. But guess what? If you stay in empathy too long, you wallow. You waste time. You know, empathy without action can mean that you just start to stay in an emotional state. You're in an emotional state for an elongated period of time, which doesn't allow you to get out of it, which can really dig some holes. People can become so empathetic with someone else's situation, they can take it on as their own. And that's extremely dangerous, right? I mean, if your problem becomes my problem and now we're in this problem together, but we can't get out of the problem, who's helping? Who's actually helping? If you're not the kind of friend that can't tell the other friend at some point in time, listen, I love you. I love what you're telling me, and I know what you're going through, but at this point in time, how can I help you? You can ask. You can start with asking, but then you also can help with action. I'm always trying to solve that, and I think that can be, we talked many times about personality. My personality is one where a strength is wanting to help people. Wanting to help solve other people's challenges can also be a blind spot, because turned up too loud, that strength can actually be someone feeling like you're not really understanding what they're going through. You're just trying to solve it. You're just trying to action step it. And, we look at this all the time in our world, right? Everybody knows what they should be doing. I mean, you know what you should be doing more of at work to be more successful. You know how you can be more successful in health if you just eat less of this and do more of that. You know how to exercise more. You know it, but you don't do it, right? We don't do everything we know. And so having accountability partners, having people in our lives that want action. Look, you got to know who to call, right? I know that I am not the first call to my friends that really want someone to empathize in an elongated period of time. If you want to call someone and you want to cry for 3 days, I'm the worst person to call. I'll cry with you for a day. After that, we're not crying together anymore. We're solving the problem. We're moving on. We're going to figure it out. And I know some things deserve more time. Life deserves more time. Relationships deserve more time. I get it. Some of these things aren't solved in a day. I'm not trying to tell you that life's biggest challenges, the loss of someone we love, a relationship that's ended, is something that just gets fixed. I'm not telling you that. I would never, ever do that. I'm empathetic enough to know that that is not something we can do. Even if I want to solve it that quick, I still understand. But with action, even small action steps, I also know that you can really take that empathy and build something great. You could take the empathy for the friend that you're dealing with or talking to, and even the smallest of steps. Maybe it's, I haven't left the house in a couple days, or this long winter, or this pandemic, or whatever it may be, has got us so far down. 10 minutes of sunshine every day can start it. 5 minutes of eating the right foods. 5 minutes of reaching out to a friend that's positive energy. One of my friends called me in the beginning of the year and he said, I'm going to call you a lot more this year. And I was like, why? And he laughed and he goes, I need people that hold me accountable, and I need more positive energy in my life. I'm really tired of the negativity and I feel like I'm surrounded by it right now. And in order to get out of it, I need to get action steps in. And I know that you will not allow me to waste time in negativity. And I can't, I won't. You got to solve it. And look, I'm married, I have children, I fail all the time at this. Being an empathy with action personality is a challenge sometimes. Sometimes I don't stay long enough in a situation. I'm humbly coming to you telling you I don't have it all figured out. I'm just telling you some of the things I have figured out are in business, in life, when you really want to solve something, putting yourself in that person's shoes, understanding who they are, what they're going through, why it matters to them, can allow us to solve some of life's biggest problems. I think it might even solve some of the biggest political problems in our world. I mean, truthfully, these are the very things that people forget. Empathy is where it starts. Empathy, but with action. So I'd love to hear your viewpoints on this. I feel like this is a topic that could really drum up some good comments, some good analogies. You could tell me, are you too empathetic? Are you sympathetic? Do you find yourself falling into a pit of empathy? Are you a person that's out there trying to save everything and everyone because you're so empathetic? Or are you trying to build an action plan for every single friend that's going through something? Do you do this in your families? Do you find yourself in a no excuses mode, right? Being empathy with action, having empathy with action puts me as a father sometimes as a no excuses. Okay, this is what happened. Great. Let's move on. Let's figure it out. Okay, we got it. Let's move on, right? That could be no excuses, which as a kid sometimes feels like it's never enough, right? So we know we have to be aware of these things. Empathy with action has limits. But let's know if we really want to help solve things, if we really want to get to that next level, it's got to start with understanding, empathy, and then action. I'm Scott Danner. Thanks for joining me.